Good day, my friends. My name is Lego, and welcome to something a little bit different than my usual YouTube videos. Welcome to the story of my life. Now, before we get on too much further, I want you to know that this is all, well, I'll try to keep it as true as possible and to try and get a lot of the facts right. It's been a while. I've heard stories from different people because I don't remember all of it. But from what I remember and from what I've told, I'll try and keep this straight. At any rate, it all started back in the year 2000, March 17th, 2000 to be exact, the day that I was born. 6 pounds and 15 ounces. Yeah, I was a little bit of a big kid. At any rate, it was shortly before the Twin Towers were attacked by kamikaze bombers, and there wasn't a whole lot going on, but there was this whole new millennium age going on in 2000, and little did they know in 2000, 5, 6 years later, YouTube would come out, and this, great big thing. But at any rate, there were a lot of things going on in those early years in between 2000 and 2003. And at the time, my parents and I lived in Lacey. And if you guys don't know your recent history, there were a few earthquakes in Lacey, Washington. I realize I didn't mention which state I live in. Still live in Washington. But there were a few earthquakes in Lacey, Washington about 2001. And this is when you start to see some weird stuff in my life, which I only have one explanation for, but I'll get to that later on in the video. At any rate, there were a few earthquakes, and one hit while my parents and I were in Lacey, and there were, bookshelves and stuff in my room when this happened, and my mom came rushing in, and my room was completely untouched. Completely. Just nothing. Not a book on the floor, not anything out of place. So, very, very strange. Very strange. And my life continued to have weird events like that all through it. I mean, there was this one time when my dad was playing with me, and he accidentally dropped me on the floor. Not real hard or anything, he just accidentally just plopped right on the floor. And so there was that. And for some weird reason, I have this kind of, not necessarily a dent, but when you look at it weird, or look at it from the wrong angle, it looks like a dent in the back of my head, and it's actually, it's more of a bump than anything. I don't know. I don't know. But at any rate, it's just, we lived in Lacey for 2 or 3 years after I was born, until eventually we moved out here to my home right now, which I've been living in for the past 14, 15 years, give or take. So, that's pretty cool, to live in the same house for so long. I love it out here. I have a mile of forest that way that I can go and explore in, and several feet and yards or whatever. Just, there's forest everywhere. There's forest that direction, forest that direction, forest that direction. There's a lot of forest. At any rate, I loved exploring the forest, and I loved living in this house. I mean, I still remember the day where my dad took me to this house to see it for the very first time. I still remember this day, and they were laying carpets in the living room, which is just over here. And I remember when there wasn't any furniture in this house, and yeah, weird memories and stuff. At any rate, I've lived in this house for the past 14 years or so, and over those years a lot of things have happened, a lot of different birthdays have happened. And I suppose I should probably mention right about now that during my birth, only a couple of people were awake at that time because my mom was in labor for about 6 hours or so, which isn't too long, but, it's fairly long. Anyway, at any rate, my grandfather, off of her side, was the only one who was really awake at that time, and he got to see me come into the world as a little thing like this big. So that's cool. And while this may not seem like a whole lot to you guys right now, you know my grandfather a little better than you think you do. Anyway, so that all happened, and then when I was about 5 or so, I started retaining a little more. And my parents would always take me to church on Sundays, and I think it was Wednesdays they had studies. And at the church that we were going to at the time, which was First Baptist Church, I think. No, it was the Church of God, First Church of God. Anyway, at the time, they were in the music choir at the First Church of God. And so I was always there listening to the music, and music has been in my life for a very, very long time, pretty much since the day I was born. My grandfather was, on my mom's side, was a classical guitarist. He loved classical music, and all of his brothers played some sort of stringed instrument. And my grandfather, I don't remember which side, but my great-grandfather, could play just about anything with strings. It's just crazy. At any rate, music has always been in my life, and I kind of started remembering things right around 5, really starting to remember things around 5, and there was a lot of musical influence in my life at that time. I'm trying to lead up to a big moment, but I can't think of it. And I directed the choir there once for a Christmas thing, I think it was, when I was 3. I was just a little guy. I wasn't but that tall. And so that was really cool. Music has always been in my life, and it continues to be in my life to this day. As of right now, I'm a classical pianist. I used to be a classical guitarist. A different story with that, which I'll get to eventually. At any rate, they had a daycare there at the First Church of God, and that was where I met my very first best friend, which sadly we're not friends anymore, but his name was Heiko. And we were good friends for a long time, till I was 7 or 9. I don't really remember. I think it was 9. But we were good friends for a very long time, and I enjoyed spending time with him. But the important thing was that I was always in church just about every Sunday, unless our family was sick or whatever. And my mom always taught me straight from the Bible, and just, yeah, that was my life. So, up till this point, I think it was around 2007 when we decided to move to a different church for, a few reasons here and there, which I'm not going to go into, but we decided to move to a different church, one that was only about 5 miles away from where we are right now. And that church had a pastor who I will honor till the day I die. His name is Stan Siegler. Amazing pastor, and he taught the Bible in a way that I've yet to see anybody really teach the same way. He taught the different timelines throughout the Bible, and he taught the way that the things connected, and he taught how the Old Testament could connect in 3 different points back here, and it would be what Jesus is talking about here in the New Testament, and it was just crazy. And I met a lot of friends back then, and I still have a few of them that I talk to every now and then today. Shout out to you, Josiah, if you're watching this video. I met you way back in 2007, and it's 2017 now. We've known each other for 10 years. At any rate, he's a great kid, Josiah. I say he's a kid, we're the same age. And we both play piano now. At any rate, that eventually led into me being taught by his older sister, Stephanie, to play piano, and she's one of the reasons why I can play as well as I do now. While I may not have been able to pick it up when I was younger, 8 or 9, I certainly picked it up better now than I did then. I needed to learn a lot more music theory, and a lot more patience. At any rate, something else that was always in my life was art. I have always been an artist from the day I could pick up a pen or use finger paints or whatever. I was always drawing something. In fact, I to this day draw on the bathroom mirrors and stuff after they've been steamed up after the shower or whatever. I draw like crazy. And that leads me to another thing, that with church and all of that. Sometime in December of about 2009, I believe it was. September of 2009, I decided that I didn't want to live life the way that I was living it anymore. I decided that something was missing. So I accepted Jesus Christ as my Savior, and I've been saved ever since, and that is the way I will continue to live my life, saved. At any rate, ever since then I've had questions. I still have questions today about things. My questions are a little different than back then. Back then they were simpler questions like, why did the Red Sea turn red in Exodus? But my questions now are more like, how did God, scientifically, because I know he did it, but how did God split the Red Sea? I want to know how he did it, because it's so cool. Right? Anyway, so ever since then I've had questions. I still continue to have questions, and just yesterday I picked up a 1943 Webster's dictionary so that I could learn more words from my King James Bible. At any rate, I've been saved since I was 9, and I've continued to pray and to read the scriptures and to learn and to study as best as I can. So as the years followed on, see, I was always kind of a weird kid, and I still am. I never really fit into any particular group, and I still struggle, not necessarily struggle with it, that I don't fit into any group, but struggle with accepting that I don't fit into any group. Is part of something that I deal with. Anyway, ever since I was a little kid, I would have these kind of weird sessions in the bathroom that I'm not going to get into real intently because I really don't want to. Anyway, it turns out that I am, as I found out at the age of 10, I'm lactose intolerant. So I cannot have any sort of milk products. But that did not solve all of my problems. As I discovered later on, when I was about 14, I discovered I can't have gluten either. And just in the past year, I've discovered that I in fact have IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. I'll do a separate video on that, where I just can't have a whole lot of food. I mean, I like to say that my list of things I can eat is shorter than the list of things I can't. And I'm not trying to say, pity party, pity me, whatever. I'm just telling you my story. This is me. This is part of me. This is something that I live with. And if I didn't have this, I wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be the same person at all. I'd be completely different. Anyway, when I turned 11, 10, 11, I had this cat. His name was Dusty, and he was my best friend. Great cat. He wasn't quite all together there, but he was a great cat. He was a mix of a bunch of different stuff. I don't even really know what, but I think he might have been a little Persian, very small amount. He was a tabby and Maine Coon for sure. But he wasn't really much of a hunter. He liked to catch bugs, but he wasn't really much of a hunter. And in 2011, late 2011, he died. He got hit by a car at the age of 4, which really, really hurt. I mean, really, I still feel it today. Yeah. So 2012 was not a good year for me, and that's why when you look at my YouTube channel, you won't see any videos posted in 2012, because I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with YouTube. I've been doing YouTube since I was 9, and I wasn't doing it every day like I am now, but I didn't want to deal with it. I was still trying to figure out what to do with this whole situation, and there was a bit of anger in there, and mostly just sadness, missing him. I still miss him today, but I wouldn't have the cat that I have now, which you all have come to love and adore, Midnight, if he hadn't gone first. At any rate, in 2013, shortly before my birthday, or shortly after my birthday, my dad and mom took me out to a McDonald's to meet up with a breeder. She was 14, 15 at the time. I don't really remember her age, but we went and looked at little black and white Maine Coon kitties. They were about, well, this big when we looked at them. And this little guy, this little Midnight, as he is now, was that big. He could fit into the cups of your hands. He was just the teeniest little guy. And ever since the day that we met, we have been best friends. Ever since. In fact, he'd be in here right now if my door wasn't closed. Not that he's trying to get in or anything. He would be in here. And he's always with me with my videos. He's just the greatest little guy, and he is smart. I mean, really smart. Anyway, enough about Midnight. It's just great cat, and he's still with us, still with me. But as I came around 14, I started really questioning the way the world works, and right around 13, 14 is when I started to kind of have a lifestyle change. I went from being this kid who didn't really know anything to this kid who started to question the world and start to figure things out the way an inventor would. And it's kind of where the joke that I like to say is that I may have been born in 2000, but I'm actually a time traveler from 1915. That's kind of where it started. At any rate, I kind of started to get this mentality of old-fashionism, and if that's even a word, old-fashionism and learning how the world works through ingenuity and innovation. And I still see the world this way. I constantly question the way things work, and I want to, test the system to see if these things that don't look like they mesh together fit, And you'll see that in my Destiny videos. That's how I do it, and I want to teach you guys as best as I can this way, because there isn't enough of it in the world anymore. It's been gone for the last century almost, and guys like Harrison Ford, I believe that was his name. Anyway, guys like the guy who started Ford and Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla. I mean, Benjamin Franklin even fits into there, and he wasn't even in the 1900s. But guys like that just kind of don't exist anymore. There aren't people who question the way the world works anymore. They just simply accept it. But at any rate, I really want to see more of those people. So for the last few years, I've been trying to figure out how life works and how I should really approach life. And I've learned that I am not your average cookie, so I shouldn't see life like an average cookie either. I shouldn't be a normal person if I myself am not normal. If I'm going to be, what I'm trying to get at is if I'm going to be outside of the crowd, I may as well be so far outside of the crowd that they could never put me in it, because it's the only way I could thrive in a community like the world is. And being a YouTuber is definitely a push in that direction. There aren't too many successful YouTubers out there. I'm not saying that I'm successful. 60 subscribers. And I'm not a successful YouTuber, but that's okay. I don't mind not being all that successful, because right now it's just you and me, and you is mostly my friends at this point. And I love to have these little conversations with my friends. I don't mind taking time out of my day to explain something to you guys. I love it. Even though I might seem like I have a bad day or a little rough around the edges, I really love to talk with people. In fact, if you saw me in the store and tapped me, just walked up to me behind me, tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You're a subscriber of mine," I'd hug you there on that spot, just because I'm that kind of a person. Anyway, so eventually in about 2015, I started to pick up my YouTube channel again, because I really felt like that was the only way I could help with the fact that Dusty had gone and what to do about it, because I still feel really lonely about that whole thing. I still miss him, and I've been trying to find something to fill that hole, but it's just still there. Anyway, I've kind of found something, and that's YouTube. I love making YouTube videos for you guys, and it distracts me from all of the loneliness and stuff. and I have fun doing it. I love making YouTube videos for you guys. I don't even care that I don't make any money making YouTube videos because it's so much fun for me. I love building computers, and I love finding electronic things and making them work, taking two things that shouldn't even be thought of being put together and sticking them together and making them work. I love every part of it. So you guys are a real encouragement for me, and I hope I'm an encouragement for you in not only making this video, but also sharing my life with you, because this is a big step. This is something I would never normally do. And that leads me to 2016, where we moved churches again in 2016, and we met a new pastor, amazing guy. His name is Keith Heldreth. You can probably find his Facebook page if you really want to learn more about him. At any rate, his name is Keith Heldreth, and he preaches and teaches very similarly to our other pastor, Stan Siegler. And this guy he's just a little bit different than your normal pastor. He's not like the official tie and gotta have the Bible thumping kind of. No, he's more like he wants you to study on your own, and he wants you to learn how the Bible works and where you can link things together and how things link together. And this past year, he's been giving out challenges for us to challenge us spiritually. And the last week, well, this week, was to share a testimony. So I decided that I was going to make a YouTube video sharing my life story. This YouTube video sharing my life story as my project. And the past week he had us, what else did he have us do? He had us write letters of encouragement as well. 5 letters of encouragement to a stranger, to a church member, to somebody you don't know very well who's a Christian, a celebrity, and just a lot of different people. And I wrote 4 of the 5. I haven't gotten to my celebrity just quite yet because I'm not sure if my celebrity, Yub, if you know him. If not, he'll probably be, if you click on my channel down in the bottom over here, sorry, everything's flipped for me, you'll go over to my channel, and over on the side, over there, you'll see it. It'll be in the subscribe list. I'll add him in, because he's not there right now, but I will add him in. Anyway, I wanted to write a letter to Yub. So our challenge was to write a letter of encouragement out to friends, family. Yeah. So I did that, and it was great fun. I love doing these projects. They're an encouragement to not only myself, but everybody around me, and it's great. And something else that I should probably explain, that even though I'm a YouTuber, I've always been shy. That's the best way I can put it. Since I was about 3 or 4, I've always been kind of shy in social interactions, and I don't really like talking to people that I don't know all too well. But like I said, if you tap me on the shoulder and say you're a subscriber, I just totally flip around. I don't know what it is, but I love doing YouTube, and I love working for you guys. It's entirely different than this kind of stuff that I've done in the past where I've worked for somebody else. I'm kind of working for myself, making my own hours, but I'm doing it all for you. All of my videos on my channel are for you to enjoy. Not me, though I enjoy making them. They're for you, for your entertainment, for you to get a laugh at. And hopefully one day maybe even meet us. I mean, if you guys want to meet us, if you guys want to Skype us, whatever, just, say in the comments. I will gladly talk to you. I don't mind it at all. I love doing it. It's part of my job here on YouTube, and I really take this as a job. Honestly, I do. I realize that it's a fun job, but I take it as a job, and I don't take very many vacation days, and I realize I don't get paid for it, but who cares? I love it. It's a fun job. and it's a way that I can express who I am without anybody really, it's a way that I can express who I am and create a community around that, a new community, a community of individuality, and a community of people who accept who they are, not just accept who other people are. Community of people who can do weird things like YouTubing, or draw weird styles of art, or just be generally weird people and just be accepted. I myself am a huge nerd, huge, but I don't really fit into the nerd category because I'm also kind of this weird cool dude jock that everybody sees. I don't get it because I don't exercise really at all, but maybe it's part of living out here in the country. I don't know. At any rate, it's just I don't really fit into any real category, and I want to create a community for us, for people who don't fit into any real category. So go ahead, come join us. It's fun here. I don't know. Anyway, I guess that kind of just wraps it up. As for 2017, not too much has happened as of yet. Let's see here. I have plans for the future, and I'm really sad that you guys didn't ask me more questions on my Q&A video. I really am. I really want to reach out to my community that I'm creating here, our community, and I really want to talk with you guys. I'm not like those other big YouTubers who just make YouTube videos for the fun of it. I do it for you, to talk to you. That's right. I do it all for you. Like I said earlier, I love talking to you guys. I can't get enough of it. So don't be afraid to send me a comment. Even if you think it's a stupid idea, or if you're just saying hi, I love to respond to your comments and talk with you guys. It's just what I do. I'll respond to every comment I see, or at least look at it, because I constantly get notifications. I have a phone, but I don't have service or a number or anything on it, but I constantly get notifications off my phone or my computer, and I read every single one of your comments. Every one. I love doing it. I love responding to you guys, so don't be afraid to send me a comment. Ask me any questions you want, whether it's just from hi to hey, serious life question. I will do my best to answer it. So I hope you guys know that, and if you didn't, now you do. So as for plans for the future, I plan to continue down this path until I can't anymore. As of right now in my life, I'm going through my junior year of high school. I think it's junior. I'll be a senior next year. And I'm holding YouTube, which I consider a part-time job, and another part-time job with a neighbor who I'm not entirely working for them yet, but that's why my videos have been scattered of late, is because I haven't had time to record videos. So I'll often record in the night or early in the morning or whenever I have time, so I'm sorry for the scattered schedule, but I intend to post the video as best as I can Monday through Friday. And they'll be about 20 minutes long is my goal, so that they're not, they don't take forever to edit and upload. Anyway, I think my camera's running out of battery or something, so I better wrap it up now. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay off.